Today's episode is sponsored by Chipotle, and I'm going to apologize in advance to some of you because I've been told that when I do these Chipotle spots, they make people hungry. All right, I'm sorry, but it's not my fault if Chipotle makes awesome burritos with grilled adobo chicken, organic tofu sofritas, tasty slow-braised carnitas, and other delicious ingredients without all the mystery junk you get at other restaurants. I'm sorry, it's not my fault that they do that. So you can sit there being mad at me for making you hungry, or you can go out and get some Chipotle, food without a side of questions. We're also sponsored today by Simply Safe. Simply Safe is the new way to get home security. If you want to keep your home safe but don't want to deal with aggressive sales guys, steep monthly fees, or long-term contracts, get Simply Safe. Go to simplysafewtf.com, pick out the right system for your home, and you'll have it up and running 30 minutes after it arrives at your doorstep. Get award-winning professional monitoring at only $15 a month with no contract or commitments. For home security without all the headaches, go to simplysafewtf.com. WTF listeners get an exclusive 10% off. All right, do that, all right, people? All right, let's do the show.
Lock the gate!
All right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fucksters, what the fucknicks, what the fuckadelics? I am Marc Maron. This is my show, WTF. I'm broadcasting right now from a hotel room 12 floors up, overlooking, I think, what might be the first beautiful fall day in New York City. Man, I didn't know if I was going to make it to New York City. It's been a long few days. And I'll tell you, last week, watching the Weather Channel or CNN or anything, it's amazing. It's the amount of intensity and speculation that goes into bad weather when they've got something to sink their teeth into. I didn't think I was ever going to leave Raleigh, North Carolina, which is where I was at. I went to Raleigh, North Carolina to see my girlfriend Sarah Kane's big art show, a work on site at the Contemporary Art Museum in Raleigh. It was fucking astounding. And okay, granted, I'm biased, but I'm an art guy. I'll let it in. I'll roll it around my soul, see what moves inside, and then move on or linger, whatever you need to do in front of a piece of art. I do not condescend immediately. It usually takes a bit of deliberation before I dismiss something in a condescending way or dismiss something at all. Usually I'll blame myself first and say, I guess I don't get that. But that's become less and less as I get older. You would think that would become more and more. But to see that fucking thing inside, I mean, she was down there for 2 weeks, and this was a massive space. And she did the entire bit of business, the entire painting in all its glory, live in that space inside of like 9 days. And it was a lot of space. I mean, I've tweeted pictures of it, but if you're in it, if you're down there in Raleigh, or in that area within 100 miles, I would say go to the Contemporary Art Museum of Raleigh and see this piece of work, because I've never seen anything like it. And again, I'm emotionally involved with this woman, but when I got there and I sat there with it before people came in for the opening, I got a little teary-eyed, and I couldn't explain it. Obviously, I was proud of her, and obviously I was impressed by her, but the art moves you. God damn. It's got some power to it. So now I just have to deal with the fact that this woman that I'm seeing and who is in my life, is this fucking genius, which is fine with me. Primarily because there's no way I can do what she does, so I'm not threatened at all. I'm man enough to admit that. Sometimes, you get into those situations where it's like, yeah, you're great at that, but, if I could do it. No, I can't do it. I can't do it at all, and I respect it. So that was pretty exciting. Did I mention the guest today? I did not, I don't think. Very important guest, speaking of art, actually, in a way. Peaches, who I have to be honest with you, I knew very little about. But I'd received her book. I'd talked to Kim Gordon about her, and I started poking around, looking at her work, and I got this book that, had a lot of her performance, photographs of her performances. And again, very easy to sort of be like, performance art, that's ridiculous. This is like, bad comedy, or what kind of clown bullshit is this, or whatever you're going to do. Why be a slave to your cultural expectations that are probably ingrained in you, without even your permission? Why not push them out a bit and let it in? Why not open your heart to things that you don't quite understand if it is a safe environment to do so? Art shouldn't be safe at all, but taking it in should be relatively safe. You shouldn't have to see a piece of art in a free fall without a chute. If you feel that way because of the art, then that's some good art there. But, that shouldn't be the opening of the exhibition. Is you have to jump out of a plane and it's the last thing you see. Look over there. You see that thing in the sky that's blowing up and spinning around? Okay. Hope you enjoyed that. R.I.P. The point is, I was very taken with the audacity and the persistence and the strange courage of Peach's work that I saw, in print in terms of photographs of her performances. And then I listened to her music, and it was fun. It seemed to come from a place. She seemed to have a thing, but she's a very, quite a spectacle. And she does a lot of stuff with prosthetics and costumes and haircuts and penises and things and boobs and, a lot of different stuff. So I did a little research. I poked around a bit and learned some stuff about her. And this was the most interesting thing. There's a thing I do that I'm not sure is correct. And that is, there's two things, is dismissing people as crazy without deeply acknowledging my own particular insanity. The other thing is assuming people who are uniquely talented in an uncomfortable way are damaged, I think is wrong. I think it might be wrong to assume people are damaged just because of their profession in most cases. Again, look at yourself. Where are you coming from? What's your lot in life? What have you chosen to do with your life? What are the reasons? What are you hiding from? What are the emotional scars that you're trying to solve? It was one of those situations where I'm speaking directly about my guest today, Peaches, where I'm like, she's got to be out of her fucking mind. Which is a fairly conservative, frightened way to assess something you don't understand without really knowing. And you'll find in my conversation with her, I was amazed at how grounded and focused and sort of deliberate she is in her path to her creativity and to her actual work. So I learned a lesson. Don't make assumptions, especially negative pathological assumptions about someone's psychological disposition based on their work, because you might just be projecting, and why don't you reckon with your own shit? And hopefully whatever they're producing makes you go that full route and ask those questions of yourself so you can do that. Sometimes art's supposed to do that. Wow, this is fucking nuts. Well, why is it affecting you like that? Shut up, man. Here's something from Twitter. This was tweeted by @Muhdawn, Muhdawn. Quote, "Oh man, someone sent me a package via stamps.com. I somehow feel I should thank Marc Maron for this." Well, you're welcome. But what you should really do is get on that stamps.com train yourself, my friend. Buy and print official U.S. postage right from your own computer and printer. You get the digital scale to automatically calculate the exact postage you need for any letter or package, any class of mail. You'll also never have to waste valuable time at the post office again. Print the postage you need, put it on your letter or package, then just hand it to your mail carrier, and you're done, people. Look, if seeing Stamps.com labels on packages makes you think of me, I'm fine with that, because I use Stamps.com when I'm in the garage. So I walk the walk, my friends. Start a 4-week trial with a $110 bonus offer that includes the digital scale and up to $55 of free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in WTF. That's Stamps.com. Enter WTF. Yeah, I did that, the New Yorker Festival interview with Khalifa Sana, who I'd never met before. He writes for the New Yorker. He writes a lot about music and stuff. He's interviewed me before about some stuff, but he did a good job, and I want to thank everybody for coming out for that. That was a fun conversation. I like to talk. I'm always surprised that people want to see me talk. Sometimes I think, like, don't I talk enough? Is anyone going to come to this? Well, why would they come see me talk more in a different context? But I'm glad you did, because something always exciting happens when I do talk. And tomorrow I will be at Princeton University in New Jersey, my friends. I will be doing a free lecture, part of their lecture series out there. That starts at 6 o'clock on Tuesday, October 6th. I will be at Princeton in the McCosh Hall, room 50. I'll be there giving a rap. You're free to come, New Jersey people. I'm going to be in the same room where Albert Einstein presented his theory of relativity. Thanks for telling me that, guy who's running the lecture. Oh, man. Not a lot of pressure. I better put something together. Right? I'm glad I made it out of Raleigh. Boy, that hurricane that didn't happen almost had me buying a house down there. We're sponsored today by DraftKings, who continues to sponsor this show despite the fact that I know nothing about fantasy football. But it's getting to be worse than that, isn't it, people? I mean, DraftKings knew from the start that I had no interest in fantasy football, but it's been 2 years now, and I haven't made even a modest attempt to be interested in it. I think I put negative effort into it, actually. I probably knew more about fantasy football when we started, which was zero knowledge. And I think I actually know less now, if that's even possible. So it's cool of them to keep sponsoring the show. Lord knows I've been no help personally. But that's the beauty of DraftKings. They don't even really need me. They just need you folks out there who like fantasy football. Because if you play season-long fantasy football, you're going to love DraftKings. It's the same thing, but with no season-long commitments and millions of dollars in prizes. Go to DraftKings.com now, use the promo code WTF, and play for free with your first deposit in this Sunday's $1 million fantasy football contest, where first place takes home $100,000. Enter WTF for free entry now, only at DraftKings.com. This isn't fantasy as usual. This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. So I didn't buy a house in Raleigh. I'm in New York. The clouds have broken, and what I was going to say is I was surprised at how relieved I was to see rain and to experience the beginning of a season, because L.A. is slowly drying out on all levels. It's fucking apocalyptic there. I'm getting to a point, people. I'm getting to a point where I'm about to run. So let's now talk to my guest back in the garage. Peaches, her new album Rub is available now, and Peaches is on tour as well at the current time. Go to peachesrocks.com to see where she's going to be. Also, that lovely coffee table book I got. So this is my conversation with Peaches. Want to work hands with your mullet hawk?
My mullet hawk. I'm kind of like rocking 5 different hairdos.
You got some, what is that, a fade?
I got
and a mullet?
Yep.
And a mohawk? Mm-hmm. And tips? Uh-huh. Are those what those called? Are they called, like, blonde tips?
Frosting?
Frosting.
I think that's the old school name.
And yeah. And it's all your real hair?
Of course.
Oh, stop it. Come on. Here's the deal with you and me. Uh-huh. Kim Gordon mentioned you.
Yeah.
And then you and I did some twittering at each other.
Tweeting.
We tweeted. And then I'm like, all right, I got to reckon with Peaches. I got to figure out what this is all about. And then sort of I immersed myself in the music, and the world, and the book. And then there was that moment where, like, where the fuck have I been for the last 15 years to like not be up to speed? But you're not that easy to find, are you?
Well, Peaches is a lot of different things, right?
Yeah, it's a world.
Yeah, I mean, but also it's a fruit.
Uh-huh.
It's a very popular Southern name.
Uh-huh.
It's like R.I.P. Peaches Geldof.
Uh-huh.
There's, just so.
Well, I mean, I was specific with my search.
Yeah.
I didn't.
No, but that comes up too.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, why Peaches?
It's actually from a Nina Simone song.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just watched a documentary on her.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's incredible. There's a lot of
Brutal.
things I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that her music was banned like that heavily.
When she became very politically active?
Yeah.
And that it was a threat?
I had no idea that, I knew she was a powerful force.
Right.
But I didn't realize how much of a threat it was.
Right.
Yeah.
During that time where, there's that weird kind of combination of mania and activism.
Oh, yes.
That she just took over the top.
Yeah.
I didn't know her stuff that well, and I certainly didn't know her story, and it was sort of heartbreaking and amazing.
Yeah.
Did you listen to her when you were a kid?
Yeah, I listened to her a lot. But that song, For Women, at the end, she says, they call me Peaches.
And that's where you got it
from? So I was like,
oh,
I want her to sing that to me.
I'm going to be Peaches.
She's not going to be like, they call me Meryl. So.
Meryl's the real name?
Yeah.
Meryl what?
Meryl Nisker.
And it's Jewish.
It's Jewish. It doesn't sound so Jewish, does it? Nisker.
Not really. I know those SKs with the ER sometimes.
Polish.
Yeah, Polish. Yeah. I'm part Polish Jew.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we all came from
the
same.
What's the other part?
I think there's a lot of Polish Jew, and I think there might be some Lithuanian Jew in there, maybe some Austrian Jew. Because most of
yeah,
you too.
I think my Austrian Polish it's kind of like melded because of got all
sure
around.
All that Eastern European Jew stuff. Mm-hmm. But you come from Canada.
Yeah.
So your family ended up there, and mine ended up here. How'd they get to Canada?
Half my family went to New York, and half went to Canada. Actually, they went to a farm in Edmonton.
Really?
Yeah. And they were like, "What are we doing here? We're not farmers."
Isn't it weird how they end up there? How do Jews end up there? I never know what the process is.
I don't know.
But you didn't
they're
grow
wanderers.
up. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're on the run. Is what they're. Yeah. What part did you grow up in though?
Toronto.
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 Yeah. Is that how you say it?
Toronto.
Yeah. That's a good city.
Yeah.
It's a big city. It's a real city.
Mm-hmm. It is it likes to think it's a real city.
Well, I mean, it is for Canadian city.
For a Canadian city, it is. It's a real city for Canadians because all Canadians from everywhere else hate Toronto. Oh, you're from Toronto.
Oh, the big city.
That's the corporate city.
Yeah. Oh, corporate city?
Yeah, ooh, Toronto.
But it's weird. I try to figure out what the difference is between a Canadian city and American cities. It just seems to be a lack of general fear and terror in the street.
You'll just hear a lot of sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Canadians will bump into you
but they're out
the other person will apologize.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sorry, you bumped into me. So.
But what kind of families you grow up in, though? Can I ask these questions? Because I want to know how you evolved into this event.
This
ongoing event that is Peaches.
Suburban Jewish.
Really? Do you have brother and sisters?
Yeah, I have a brother and a sister.
So it's a big little Jewish family. Yeah. Conservative Jews.
Conservative. It's just so funny that it's conservative because we were conservative for no reason.
Well, it doesn't mean anything really.
Yeah, it means tradition. It means I'm still scared of my parents and they were conservative, so we're going to be doing that too. But
were you bat mitzvahed?
This is the sad part.
What?
Because my brother got bar mitzvahed in Israel.
Oh, the whole thing.
We all went.
Oh, the big. Yeah,
and we all got dressed up like Canadians, for bar mitzvah. Uh-huh. And then it was in because my uncle lives in the Negev.
Really?
Yeah. So we went to their synagogue, and everybody else is in shorts, and all the bar mitzvah boys are just another day, whatever.
Right.
And we're all uptight in our
dresses
outfits.
and suits. Yeah.
And then my brother had that.
Yeah.
My sister had a choice.
Right.
Either having a bat mitzvah.
Are they older?
Yeah, they're both older.
Okay.
So my sister's 3 years older.
Yeah.
She had a choice to either have a bat mitzvah or to go on a van tour across Israel with other 13-year-olds for a month.
The teen tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Just in a van. Not even
not a bus, not.
Just a van with 10 other kids.
Right. And she took that?
Yeah, how amazing. What a great experience.
All right, so that's what they got.
Yeah.
And when it came to you?
Basement party. They were about to renovate the basement.
But you had a bat mitzvah?
No.
You didn't?
I just had a basement party. They're your brother's DJing.
That's
it? Yeah.
That's probably what started your whole career. That was the bitterness from the basement party.
Yeah. I went to half-day Hebrew, half-day English school.
Really?
Yeah. So I really was always why? I can't even learn English. How can I learn Hebrew too? And I was very spaced out kid.
But they were really Jewy. I mean, that's not sending, I mean, we all, eventually you get to Israel once.
Yeah. No. Me and my sister both went to half-day Hebrew, half-day English school. She can speak Hebrew. I can't because I just spaced out. I was this is too much for me.
But do your parents both speak Hebrew?
No.
What's your old man do?
He's an accountant. He used to be a pro baseball player.
Really?
Yeah.
In Canada?
Yeah, he got discovered in a like a small park because like when his parents came over, they'd always bring people over,
right.
And they had no money, so everybody would live in their house.
Right.
They basically lived under the dining room table and then give away their room and everything. And one person who stayed at their house took my father, who was they had two sons. My father was the younger one, and he's like, "Kid, I'm going to show you how to pitch."
Yeah.
And he would pitch every day with my father, and then.
And your dad became a pitcher?
Yeah, he was a pitcher, and he was a pitcher at the time where you could still be a batter. So.
And for what team?
He was like the Cleveland Indian farm team.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so he never made the majors?
No, his mother died when he was like 21.
Oh.
And he was just like, I want to go home to my girlfriend and get married. And then he became accountant. But he's the most contented man. He's like, no regrets. So happy. He's been with my mother since she was 14 and he was 17.
Really?
Yeah, and they love each other.
Still?
Yeah, they're in their 70s. They're so in love. It's.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it's. You're just like, I'll never have that.
Why do we assume that?
I don't know. They're amazing.
We're getting up there. Like I've been through a few.
I've been through a few. I tried. I mean, I have a good model, so I've tried.
I don't know what causes the fundamental inability or the dissatisfaction or the hunger to keep, to not relax into it or something. I think that it seems like there is a lot of compromise that you just have to live with.
I think, I was married.
For how long?
Well, I was with this person for 9 years.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was 21, I was 24. We got married when I was 28.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were with him...
In Canada.
Right. Yeah. So how long were you with him before you got married?
5 years.
And what did that guy do?
He was an artist.
Painter?
He was a painter and a sculptor. He was really interested in making, like, action figures. So he used to and he used me as a model. So he'd like stare at my face and all my moving parts. And then he made an action figure of me with like 13 movable parts and my head. And for a year he was just like carving it and staring at me.
What were you doing at that time?
Well, I was doing music at night and my day job doing music with children.
Are you like what? Like how did you play piano, guitar?
Guitar.
Sing?
I was learning acoustic guitar.
And you were 21?
Yeah, 21. Okay. Yeah.
And this is like when you. Well, getting back to your parents, what did your mom do?
She didn't. She
just hung out.
But at 30, she went back to school, psychology.
Oh, really?
Yeah, parent effectiveness training courses and.
And
she started smoking.
Of course, because she had to be intense as a psychologist.
Yes.
The smoking kind.
Yeah.
The thoughtful, intense one.
Yeah, she is. That's exactly her.
Really?
Yeah, very, very thoughtful, intense.
And was she, did her parenting shift at 30? How old were you when she was doing that, smoking and being a psychologist?
I think I was probably like 12.
Right?
Yeah.
So was there a big shift in the approach?
No, I didn't notice I was too spaced out.
Why are you so spaced out?
I don't know. I was just spaced out. I just like didn't understand why all these. I don't know. I just didn't understand why I had to go to this kind of school or why I lived in this life. And it wasn't more like a defiant thing. It was more like I just don't get it.
You felt out of place?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just uncomfortable around the regular people. Around the life.
I didn't even know why, Yeah.
It
wasn't like I was a loner. I had friends and everything.
But inside you were like, I'm different than this.
No. I wasn't even like I was just spaced out. I was
really?
just like, what's going on? Yeah.
No drugs.
No drug. I mean, I was 12.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it starts young. Maybe not in Canada, but here, you can get going pretty early.
Yeah, it's true. You can.
So you're doing that. You're being a spaced out kid, and then when does the compulsion to create happen in general? Because, with somebody that does all the things that you do, that it's hard to sort of categorize it in probably until later, but you seem to be pretty open to creativity in a big way. So was there a specific thing that kind of triggered you? Well,
I was, I memorized songs all the time, one of those kids. I was almost in an autistic fashion, like I remember every song. I used to New Year's when I was 6, I would stay up and listen to AM radio and write down like the top 100. And then I would like have it of that year, and it would be very important to me
to listen to all of them and to know all of them.
To know all of them, and I'd be so excited if I knew every song or things like that. So I was really into music in my head, but I didn't know it meant anything, or
right.
And I didn't think you could be a musician if you didn't have training,
right? Yeah,
or anybody else around you that was doing it.
Who were the bands that sort of moved you early on? Was it like disco music?
Rock
music?
All of it. Yeah. I remember hearing Talking Heads on like a classic rock station. I'm like, this is different.
This is it.
This is like not classic rock, but it's on this station. I don't understand why, but I like it.
Like Psycho Killer or something?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
I was like, why is this here? Yeah. And also, when I was 12.
Yeah.
Usually it's always when I was 7, but it seems like today when I was 12.
12 is a big time for you. So that was a pivotal year, the 12.
Yeah, well, we used to have these...
before the basement party.
Yeah, right before. Leading up to...
Yeah.
But we used to have school dances.
Right.
This is after I went to Half to Hebrew, Half to... When I went to the public school, which is ironically called Zion Heights Junior High.
But it was not a Jewish school.
No. But we would have school dances, and they would play a lot of early hip-hop, like...
Right.
First hip hop songs.
Yeah.
And early funk music and disco.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was like
78.
Right.
Yeah. And so there was like a large
music you can dance to.
Yeah, and I love to dance.
You did?
Yes. My dad and my brother made me play hockey because I'm Canadian.
You played hockey?
Yeah, and all the games were Saturday nights. But I was invited to like bat mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs, so it was like a big problem for me.
I'm not going to play hockey.
I don't want to play hockey, Dad. I want to dance at the bat mitzvah.
How were you on the skates? Pretty good?
Horrible. It was horrible.
I wanted a hockey success story.
There's no.
What did your siblings end up doing in life?
In life now?
Yeah.
Well, my brother is a editor.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For a film editor?
Yeah.
And
he works on TV right now.
You have two?
And I have a sister.
And what's she do?
She is living life, and she's the most beautiful person ever. She has a debilitating disease. She has multiple sclerosis, and it's a galloping form, and she's just trying to get through the day all the time. But she's so positive and like the biggest inspiration of my life.
Is she in Canada?
No, she's in White Plains, New York.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
And do you spend time with her whenever you can?
Yes, I try to spend a lot of time with her.
She's an inspiration because of her determination?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing when you know somebody or have somebody in your life that has to struggle with something so real and horrible, and they can still manage.
She has so much love for everybody. Because I have, like, Jewish guilt.
Sure.
And also with her, because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just going to Japan to play some shows, and she's like, oh my God, you're so amazing! I can't believe, like so excited, but not in a phony way. She's just seriously excited,
right?
Because I don't want to like make her feel bad or
right.
But she loves it. She vicariously lives through it.
So she's excited for your success. And
yeah.
I have to, like, when I watch your stuff or when I listen to it, in terms of how it's provocative, at what point did your parents say, like, I guess she's doing good?
When they read about it in, the newspaper, then they're like, oh, because they're friends. Like, my mother had a harder time. My dad was like, oh, we listened to Donna Summer in my car. Bad girls. I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And then I remember he read an article on Little Kim once, and he was like, oh, I read about Little Kim. I know what you're doing.
I know what you're up to.
Yeah.
Well, so let's get back around to what provoked you creatively. Okay, so you're listening to music, but at some point you started to evolve into this, performance artist / techno goddess thing. Provocateur, but it didn't start out that way. It doesn't sound like.
It's all very organic. I mean, like I said, I didn't even know what art school was. Like, I didn't know what that was.
Right.
I didn't.
But you were 12.
No, but also like even I didn't know about contemporary art or any of that stuff. No, my we had like a Dali print on my wall, and I was like, why is that? Watch melting or like Don Quixote, Picasso, but I didn't know I don't know anything about
So something must have blown your mind at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it was all blowing my mind. I didn't, realize it. But, and then there was like a big theater element. So because we'd go to visit family in New York, and then we'd go to Broadway shows and things like that.
Yeah.
And it's such a typical, there's two really typical Jewy stories.
Okay.
At my, cousin's bar mitzvah when I was 7.
Yeah.
I asked my mom if I could sing with the band.
Yeah.
And she said, "Can you sing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think I can sing." So I sang with the band. So, and then
Did you nail it?
I nailed it, and I had to sing it at every
bar mitzvah.
every bar mitzvah and wedding and stuff like that. So I mean, then the secret was out. Like Meryl can sing, and so every Barbra Streisand album or anything that came out was like, "There's a new Barbra Streisand. Can you learn Evergreen?" So I would sing all that.
And you liked learning lyrics, so it wasn't a problem.
I loved it. I remember waking up one morning and on the radio was like Barbra Streisand and Neil Diamond singing like "You Don't Bring Me Flowers." I ran into my parents' room like, "Oh my God, they're singing together!"
Neil, and you knew both of them?
Yeah, well, because that's all we listened to,
Sure.
And then my parents were like, "Yeah, that's cool," and I couldn't believe they weren't as excited as I was.
About Neil Diamond and Barbra Streisand?
Singing together. Yeah.
So you graduate high school?
Yeah, well, so I was very into theater because that's all I knew.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, so I was very into theater, and then we had this really special program in my high school where in grade 11, see, that's a Canadian thing.
Yeah.
You guys say like...
We have it.
11th grade.
Okay, well, similar though, right? You do this.
So grade 11,
you go to 12, right? Grades?
13.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So in grade 11, they split everybody into actors, and grade 12 was producers, and grade 13 was directors.
So it was a real program.
Yeah. So I got really into it, and I couldn't wait to be the director, and then...
You started as an actor?
Yeah, I had to be an actor.
And what plays, like when you went to New York, what do you remember being like, oh my God?
Just like Fiddler, nothing. Like Fiddler on the Roof, or like West Side Story, and
like
stuff
the revival
like that.
of Fiddler with Topo as the main guy back again?
Probably. And I think I stood up in the aisle and was dancing, and my parents were like, "Sit down," or actually they let me.
You're like a dorky Jewish girl.
So dorky. Yeah, and then Fame, of course. Fame was like my favorite movie. And then there's that girl Doris who's singing like her mom's making her sing.
Right, yeah.
She was my favorite. Irene Cara was, of course.
Yeah. So you're in 11th grade and you're acting and
I did acting, and then I was doing production, and I started to like fight with teachers, like why are we doing this? But and stuff like that.
As a director?
Yeah, or as a, just like...
As a student?
As a student, and just like, questioning things, and...
Right.
Then
the rebellion started to happen, finally.
Yeah, and then also I started to care about my subjects and writing and literature, and things like that.
Right.
So I started to get into it, and then I went to theater school for university.
For all of it? You finished?
No, I didn't. I actually dropped acid and went, "What am I doing?"
Really? You had that experience?
I really had that experience. I dropped acid, and the next day I was like,
I'm done.
I do not want to be in this program. And then I took all arts. Like I took mixed media courses.
But you stayed in school?
Yeah, I stayed in school.
And you got a degree in arts?
I got a degree, yeah.
And you did what? All painting, drawing, sculpture?
Oh, I took a 101, visual arts class, and I was horrible. I've never drawn in my life.
Yeah.
And the teacher would come by and be like, she had this English accent.
Yeah.
She'd be like, "You're stupid.
Really?
What are you doing?" And yelling at me, and I'd be like, "I don't know. It's 101 drawing. I'm trying." And then I had to do a sculpture, and I got scared, so I just asked my friend to do it for me.
You had your friend cheat a sculpture?
Yeah, and she made me really manly with this big chin, and I got in trouble for that.
For your friend's chin of you?
She was just like, "That doesn't look like you,"
So they were really sort of strict, figurative, kind of like...
The first half of the year, and the second half was all
breakout,
conceptual. And then I was like, I get it.
This I can do.
And we learned about Duchamp, and then I don't know, you had to make a monster out of found objects and...
Oh, that's the good stuff.
Yeah, and then I was like, made some blender monster and she loved it. She's like, now you're brilliant. What happened to you?
Same teacher?
Yeah, same teacher. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, that was fun.
So the acid thing, what was that? How did that happen to a dorky Jewish girl? Who were you hanging out with that said, do this?
Oh, no. It was just like, Monday nights we would go dancing at this place, RPM. And so one night we're like, let's do acid.
And that was a tough few days?
It was just fun. No, it was just fun. I think I did only like a half. I've only done acid twice. And it was just like sparkly. And but then I just went, I am dropping out of that program. Yeah.
That's it. That was the inspiration, the life changer.
Yeah.
When did you start playing the guitar?
Probably at the end of high school. I always like dated guys who played guitar instead of playing guitar myself at first. And then I realized I'm like, it's me who wants to play guitar, not dating a guy playing guitar, so.
Did you date rock guys or folk guys or?
The first one was a folk guy who played like, no, he played, it was horrible. Actually I was better friends with his brother and then I went out with him. It was like not good.
Yeah.
But he played like Piano Man on the guitar. That's wrong.
Right.
How can you play Piano Man on guitar?
Yeah. But you like the song?
Not really. I was just like, he plays guitar. I was like 15 or something.
And then the next guy?
He was more like into African rhythms.
The next guy was?
Yeah. He was really talented.
Yeah, what was that called? Juju pop?
Yeah, juju music.
Yeah,
stuff like that. Yeah.
And then the next guy?
Then the next guy was a girl who played acoustic guitar. And then I was like, yeah, we should jam together. And then she's like, I only play my own songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, you only play your own songs. And then we ended up having a band together, which was my first band.
What was that called?
Mermaid Cafe.
And that's where it started?
Yeah. With, it was like, after a Joni Mitchell song. So
you were doing folk?
Yeah. We got one gig at this kind of legendary small folk club where like the Bare Naked Ladies started and like there's other people. And we brought a lot of people, so he gave us a weekly gig, and then we just kept writing songs. And then that's when I was playing folk music. And then another friend joined who had taught me to play guitar.
Yeah.
Joseph Greenbaum joined. And then it was only Jewish kids coming to our shows, and I was like, I'm trying to break away from the scene.
Was the girl you were seeing Jewish?
She was Jewish, too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's so
but she's not Jewish. Her family, they weren't very...
Right, but it didn't matter. It was just
But it's
Jews.
just like, it's Toronto. There's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would not have assumed.
Jewy Louie.
Well, you make assumptions about people. Yeah. I did a little research. I knew you were Jewish, but I didn't know how entrenched.
Yeah. But I broke away. Yeah.
But did you break away hostilely?
No. I was just, but it was, the folk band was quite popular with the Jewish community. Yeah. Actually, there's a
like older people would come out?
No, it was all like 14-year-old girls like crying to our music.
Did you say a documentary?
There's a documentary that two of those girls are doing right now about the relationship between queer culture and Jewish summer camps.
Really?
And because that's where we met, me and this girl.
Did you go to Jewish summer camp?
I did. I also taught drama at another camp where like the kids would go home and the counselors would stay over.
Sure. And what is the connection between queer culture and Jewish summer camp?
Nothing. That's what they're trying. And also... Oh,
they're trying to prove so? I didn't know that
No, they're not trying to prove it. And they're also Jewish culture and Jewish summer camps.
Right.
That's also like, what is the connection there?
Yeah.
And then camps and camps.
I went to camps. I went to a Jewish day camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kaitana.
Kaitana?
I think so. Not Kaikana.
Kaitana. I have a friend named Kaiki. It's very difficult.
A Jewish
for
friend?
Me. No, he's Brazilian. And I'm always like,
Kaiki?
I don't want to call you that. I feel weird calling you that.
But isn't that weird, though? There is this weird connection that I think Jews feel, and I haven't talked about it in a while, but there's a familiarity there. That, when you walk into a room full of Jews, you're like, I get it.
Yeah.
And even I imagine that's the same in Canada.
Yeah.
There's this thing that it's a weird kind of, with exceptionalism. You're sort of brought up as a Jew to believe that Jews are like insanely special.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there you are with a bunch of Jews singing songs.
Great. But what is there? But there's no Jewish culture involved in these summer camps. It's just
no, really, no singing, no,
none. There was none in the ones I went to.
I think maybe it was just a plan to keep us, marrying each other.
This is what they were talking about.
Oh,
the
really?
Two queer girls. Yeah, they're just like, and then what were we supposed to do being queer?
Right.
And then Mermaid Cafe, our big song that people would come and cry to, was about two young boys who were in love, and the mother catches them in bed, and one of the boys runs out of the house and gets on his motorcycle and drives away and gets hit by a bus, So
Really?
so dramatic. Yeah.
That was your big song?
Yeah.
Who wrote that one?
Andy D, the other girl. Yeah.
And
she rode a motorcycle? It was kind of about her. But not the part getting hit.
But you didn't want to make it girls?
No, she made it about boys. I don't know why. It was just. Yeah.
But was that the first sort of time you started to kind of push the envelope a little bit and present that life?
I don't think I even thought about it as pushing the envelope. No,
but I mean, like, how was it being received about, having a relationship about two boys who were in love with each other? That
was like totally the song.
Oh, really?
And I was like all the Jewish kids in the, heteronormative community, they loved it. It was like, they were also like, Andy and Meryl are sleeping together. Yeah. There was also that, right?
So the gossip was there.
Yeah, of course.
Heteronormative, that's the word? That's that's the classification?
Heteronormative.
I've never heard that before.
Really?
I like it. No, I mean, I'm not up to speed on the classifications of us all.
It's not really, I guess it's not really.
I guess I'm kind of heteronormative. I'm okay with it.
Welcome.
Yeah, thanks. So how do you get from playing in a folk duo to Fancy Pants Hoodlum? How does that happen?
Because I didn't want to play folk music anymore. So I just started experimenting around. So
with what?
With other musicians.
Yeah.
Like jazzers or whatever.
Yeah.
And just like using my voice more. I loved Nina Hagen or, Diamanda Galas, and just like, ooh.
Diamanda Galas, that was heavy shit, man.
Yeah, she's amazing.
Do you know her?
I do know her. She's a really sweet, beautiful person. Yeah.
I remember when was those first couple records were huge for a while.
Oh, the one with like John Paul.
That
John
one.
Paul Jones.
Yeah. That was
90s,
a while.
Early 90s. Yeah.
So you started to get into that. Did you sort of shift peer groups?
Yeah. I mean, I was even before like Mermaid Cafe. I was already living downtown Toronto with different friends who I met at university and stuff like that. So dancers and musicians,
right?
And, who
weren't Jewish. And now, how are your parents like handling all this?
No, they're fine with that. It was all good because I was still in Toronto.
But wasn't there the fear like she's going to be an artist?
Oh no, they didn't care about that. No, they had a problem with with me dating a woman.
They did.
Yeah, I mean that's how I stopped living at home.
What'd they say? What was their approach?
Like it was just like, are you gay?
Yeah.
And I was like, kind of laughing, like, oh my God, my parents are asking me if I'm gay. I don't even know. It's like, I like people.
Yeah. And did they kick you out?
It was funny. Yeah, it was funny because I think my dad was like trying to be angry. In my mind, I was like, he's not really angry, but my mother was.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's come a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, she was very open and liberal, but still, when it's your own child, it's quite different. So
that's sort of interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I know it's a bad word, but I mean,
but it's appropriate.
Yeah, but I mean, how did she reconcile that? I mean, and she was the one that reacted. Is it out of fear, or did they think that your life is going to be so difficult?
That's what it is. Also, I think she's just worried that it's the 1950s still, and that life is going to be so difficult if you have an interracial marriage, or
people are going to judge you.
You're
never going to be able to go outside.
Things like that. So
it's weird about parents, especially open-minded ones, when people get into the arts or have sexual preferences that they don't agree with. Their anger is really this weird concern.
Yeah.
Like, how are you going to exist?
Yeah, it's like I couldn't deal with that if that was me, also.
Right.
So.
Yeah. And how did she eventually come around the smoking psychologist?
The smoking psychologist, she'll never like that girl.
Oh, that one.
Yeah, she'll never like her.
That one girl.
Yeah, she'll never like that girl.
Because she sees that girl as the one that did it?
Yeah, I don't know. So whatever, it's fine. Yeah.
It's to this day.
Yeah,
she's not gonna.
Yeah,
like that.
even like if I play shows in Toronto and if Andy comes in, my mother's still a bit like, "Hello, Andy. Hello." It's fun. It's fun for me. I'm always like, "Andy's here."
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So when did it? Because I mean, like when I was listening to the music and filling my head with Peach's material, which I do, and I don't always know.
You're like rubbing your head while you're saying this and closing your. I'm like, was it all right for you?
No, it's great. It was great, but like I started to realize that you know probably seeing you live and experiencing you know what you do on stage and how it sort of is put together there. I mean the music's great, but it seems like a lot of the stuff is a visual experience. I mean even the videos, you know, the album covers, but then you know the few live things that I was able to see. It seems like it's half, if not more, of the experience of what you do is the visual element.
Yeah, it could be for some people. For other people, they don't even know my name, but they know songs like "Fuck the Pain Away" or "Boys Want to Be Here."
Sure.
You know, without knowing me.
Right.
Like I've met people, you know, like kids, and they're like, "So what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, you know, I'm an artist. I'm Peaches," and they're like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
What do you sing? And I'm like, electro music. And they're like, oh yeah. I'm like, you know that song, Fuck the Pain Away? They're, Fuck the Pain Away, that's my jam.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's me. And they're like, what? You know, that I love that moment. Because to me, that's even the music transcending any image, any message, any, you know.
Right.
So that's exciting for me. Or when it's used on certain shows like South Park or 30 Rock. And I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's like beyond anything that I have to, you know,
right. So
feed.
Right. Yeah. It exists without you and will exist without you forever.
Yeah.
And it's just out there and people have a relationship with it.
Yeah.
That was a hit.
Fuck the Pain Away. It was, but not, of course, it was never radio or anything.
Hard to be played.
Yeah, but everybody knew it. This was like just before, you know, internet was.
Right.
Yeah. So it was like 2000.
Just missed the cut, just barely.
No, yeah, but which was great because, I was getting, you know, attention from a lot of huge artists, like loving this song and everything. And also, yeah, just it was going around. And people are always like, oh, yeah, that was my, you know, I've conceived that album. I've given birth to that album.
That's my high school
I came
song.
out to the song. That's my high school song. That's, you know, so many stories. Yeah.
What's a powerful message?
Yeah. Well, it's actually a breakup song.
Well, yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah,
you know?
obviously.
Yeah.
How are you going to get rid of heartbreak? You got to fuck your way through it.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. Does that work? Not always. It doesn't always work.
Fun.
It was fun.
It was
but
fun
feel,
at the time.
You feel like the tricky thing about fucking the pain away is that, you know, then all of a sudden at the end of your, you know, your self-therapy of fucking pain away, you're like, oh my God. I think
I'm tired.
Yeah, I fucked my heart numb.
Yeah.
I'm
tired now.
Yeah. But
you hope maybe something will come out, you know, like you're just trying to be yourself again, right?
Sure.
And then maybe something, you know, something will stick. You know that theory of like, I'm not going to think about it. And then
who was the breakup with? What's her name?
No. It was with my ex-husband.
The 8-year guy.
Yeah.
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 So you went from the folky relationship with what's her name? I want to know her name.
Andy D.
Andy D. Just to irritate your mom. So Andy D. Would you consider her the first love of your life?
No. Robert Morton was the first love of my life.
So you met when it was a high school relationship.
Yeah.
And then the husband's name?
Jordan Sonnenberg.
Wow, you really kept in the tribe.
Yeah. Jordan, he was not into being Jewish at all,
except for his name.
Yeah.
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 And he was an artist who
he was
made
an artist.
action
He made incredible things. He also made a model of himself with a big claw and a big heart on. Like, I would really like to, you know, relieve myself, but I can't because I have a big claw for a hand.
So was he like? He sounds like.
Does that mean I was bad in bed? I just was like, oh wait.
No, it means he's got some problems.
Yes, so he had a lot of issues to work out. So.
But was that an inspiration to you? It sounds like your reverence for the dude in terms of how he conceived of things visually was pretty high.
Yeah, he also was like a wealth of knowledge for like, you know, visual arts. And he went to art school. He'd be reading about something and be like, what's that? He'd be like, I'm reading a book about the Situationists. I'm like, who are they? And then he'd roll his eyes. So
right,
like,
that relationship. Okay.
Well, because you know that movie with Bernadette Peters, Slaves of New York?
Yeah, yeah.
And the boy, you remember their relationship? And
not really.
And he's like, "What is it I hate about you most?" We used to say that to each other.
Oh, that was the tagline?
Yeah, and that's kind of like...
Kind of picked it up?
It's kind of right.
Yeah?
Yeah, how we were just like, there was like a negative kind of thing.
Sounds like true love.
Yeah, it was true love, so we broke up.
But you got married first.
We got married, we were like, yeah, it was my idea.
Was it ironic, or was it...
I was like, let's get married, maybe we could move to the States, maybe it'll be easier, we'll get green cards, you know. We did love each other, but it was more like, let's get married, okay.
You weren't thinking about having a family?
No.
No, just getting
married. He has
married.
a family now.
He does?
Yeah.
He leveled off? Is he still an artist?
He's still an artist.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
He hung in there.
Yeah.
But when did you start to put together this very versatile stage persona where you kind of found your groove? I know it happens organically, but at some point you knew you were going to challenge assumptions.
Well, I guess after, Fancy Pants Hoodlum was fun for me, but I didn't really have an audience.
Right.
I was asked by a friend's band, Spin the Susan, like a Lazy Susan. That was the name of their band. And they were very much like a Beyond the Valley of the Dolls kind of band.
In the way they presented themselves on stage?
And the music.
Okay.
And there were 2 girls in that band, and I was like, girls making music, awesome. So we played together, and then one of the girls I wanted to start a band with. And I was like, I want a girl band. Let's have a girl band together. And she said, well, my next door neighbor, he's a guy, and he has like instruments in his basement. Let's just go over there and jam. And there's this other guy I have a crush on. Let's just get together. I'm like, girl band, no. But she's like, just come. So I met these 2 guys. I didn't even meet them.
Yeah.
We just we all smoked a joint, and then we started jamming, and then we started writing songs about each other without knowing each other, like with sexual innuendos. And it was crazy. And then we just kept switching instruments, which I'd never done in my life. All of a sudden, they're like, play the drums. I'm playing drums, and then I'm playing keyboards, which in my mind was like, rock and roll does not have keyboards.
Right.
I was like, that is like number one.
You were a purist.
Yeah, I was.
No synthesizers.
And now I'm like, synthesizer. Yeah, it's like, that was the moment I got on the synthesizer and,
On a Roland?
No, it wasn't the Groove Box. But it was like a Moog. Moog.
Like Moog. The real, like...
Yeah, and I was like... yeah. And so after that, we all hung out. It was like Maki, who's a really good, awesome musician. Maybe you know him. And Chili Gonzalez. After that practice, we got together. We all gave each other names. That's where I gave myself Peaches. And we called ourselves The Shit. Yeah. And we're like, we're the shit. And because we were all dissatisfied with our music, and actually we became pretty popular, and just in terms of, you could tell audience liked it and we were enjoying it. It was kind of like art rock and really sexual. So that's kind of where the seeds of it all came. With
sexual
the shit.
in just the musical content, not the performance necessarily.
Yeah, no, we weren't like rubbing against each other. We were mostly screaming. In my mind, we were like Pussy Galore. The band Pussy Galore. That was my favorite.
But it was rock. In your mind.
But it was rock. Oh yeah. But it was arty, with keyboards and stuff.
Were you into Sonic Youth? Were you into art rock bands?
Yeah, I mean that's what happened. Mermaid Cafe was like 1989, 1990, and then I heard like Pavement and Sonic Youth and Bong Water. I was really into Bong Water.
She was great. I can see that influence, Magnuson. I can see that a lot in the way you construct songs. Like, they're kind of funny, and they got good terms of praise.
She was really funny.
Yeah, and Kramer was sort of a mastermind for a while.
Yeah.
But Sonic Youth, too, they were a big influence?
I loved Kim Gordon, and I loved Pussy Galore.
And what about Suicide? The
band Suicide. Yeah. Well, it's funny because
not the idea.
I always say, and I'm very influenced by Suicide, and then I'm like, God, some people don't know what you're saying. You have to say the band. You know?
I just got turned on to them. I miss fucking everything.
Okay, well, wait. I miss them too because so after the shit, everybody moved away, and that's when I got the Rolling Groove Box, and I was like, I'm going to make a band anyway, and it's going to just be
myself.
Me. Yeah, and that's where I thought I was being rock and roll, and then all of a sudden it was kind of an electro.
And that became
Teachers of Peaches,
the big one.
Yeah, that was my first album. Yeah.
So it is sort of an organic evolution. You're with all these art rock people, and you're doing this weird shit, and then you're like, fuck it, I need more freedom. I need more point of view. And you got that rolling, what is it, MC 505?
Yeah.
And you're like, I can do it all.
Yeah, and I was like recording on an ADAT machine.
So what are you going to say about Suicide?
Well, then I was playing a gig.
Yeah.
And
by yourself?
Yeah, by myself. Uh-huh. It was actually a folk night, but I was playing the keyboard, and it was.
So you just start with a beat, and then people be like, "What's happening?"
Yeah, and they'd be like, "What is this? I don't. It's one person, so it's is this folk? I don't."
Yeah.
But and then my friend, he had this band, Do Make Say Think. I don't know if you know. He's like, "You need this," and he put Suicide, the band's album,
the first album,
under my arm. He's like, "You sound like this." Yeah. And then somebody else in another gig did that with ESG. Do you know that band, ESG? There's like these girls from Brooklyn in the 80s. No, the Bronx, sorry.
Yeah.
Their mom didn't want them to be part of gangs, so she got them all instruments.
Uh-huh.
And they became this great band.
Oh, really?
You probably know some of their music, but they're, I'm
lacking. Is it, what kind of music is it?
I don't know. It's its own thing.
Really?
It's just like, the only boy in the band, I think his name was Tito.
Yeah.
He's like playing kind of a bit of conga, and there's drums and bass and very like simplified but really good, and just a singer. I don't know.
When I heard Suicide, I was like, what the fuck?
I know, that's really good.
And then like I went and looked up a video of Vega singing, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah, I got to sing with them.
You did?
Yeah, Frankie Teardrops.
You did?
Yeah, they're like, please just come on up and sing with them. I was like jumping on them, and it was so fun. I was just like, this is a dream. Yeah.
And when did that happen? Later?
Much later, like after.
All right, so you put together Teaches of Peaches by yourself, basically.
Yeah. I just, in my room, I was like, Fuck the Pain Away.
Yeah.
The recording of it was from a cassette off a soundboard the first time I ever played it.
Right.
In a club for like 20 people.
Uh-huh.
And the sound girl, I think her name was Marlon, she's like, I made a cassette of your set. If you give me $5, you can have it.
Right.
And I was like, borrowed $5. And I took it and then put that song on a demo.
Uh-huh.
As a demo.
Yeah.
And then, recorded a few other, and people heard that song, and I thought I would get feedback, and it was like, this song's awesome, like, it's great. And I was like, oh, don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix.
Sure.
So I never recorded that song, and that's the
recording?
Yeah.
That sound girl made?
Well, yeah, she just recorded it. I was doing it live.
And she did it through the board?
No, she just taped it off the board, but I was doing all the sound in the machine on stage.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Mixing it and making up the words.
And that's the version that's on the record?
And then,
that's the one that became the
That's
big...
my lifeline.
That's amazing. So
I love that.
So that the big hit, the one that everyone knows you for in a way, is just something that happened live and in the moment?
Yeah.
That's got to be a point of pride.
Yeah.
That's fucking cool. Awesome.
Because I didn't even realize it because I put it on the demo hoping for like, oh, I think that guy makes electronic music. I'm going to ask him what he thinks.
Yeah, yeah. So how'd the record deal come about?
There wasn't really a record deal. I mean, I went with Chili Gonzalez.
Yeah.
He had these like two CD players.
What's his real name?
His real name's Jason.
Yeah.
But he had 2 CD players.
Uh-huh.
And you could plug it into a system.
Right.
And I had my Rolling Groove box, and we went to Europe. We're like, let's go to Amsterdam and smoke weed. That's all we wanted to do.
Right.
And he's like, but he had a place in Paris through friends,
uh-huh.
and then we met somebody else in Berlin, so we went there too. Like, it was just by chance.
Yeah.
And we would be like, we have machines. You can plug them into your stereo system, and we could play music in your bar. You know, this is before laptops and everything.
Sure.
Now it's like, oh yeah, just plug it over there. Like everybody with their phone and, you know.
This was a more sort of organic techno experience.
Yeah. And it was like 1998.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we got to Berlin and we met some girl named Magda, and she was like, we were telling her, oh, what we do, and she's like, you should go to this place, Gallery Berlin Tokyo, which was just some weird underground art space.
Yeah.
And we went there, and there was a guy from a very small label there, and he's like, oh, I'm interested in what you guys are doing. We didn't even sing. We were just playing, like, experimental music.
Just the two of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had to go back home. I had commitments, and then I was like, I'm going to move to Berlin. Should be fun, or whatever. And then I made Teachers of Peaches in Toronto during that time.
So this is post-wall Berlin. This is open city Berlin.
It's 1999 and stuff.
Later. So, 10 years later. So, what was the scene like there? Because I've talked to people who were there early on when it was dark and like who did I talk to? Like Nick Cave and those people that gravitated towards the energy. But was it still pretty vital? I mean, was it still like...
It was incredible. You like climb through windows to get into like parties where there's like 5 people partying all night long. Yeah. But like having the best time of their life, But
what was the art scene like? Did you see anything that was starting to kind of feed into what you were doing?
There was a group, the Honeysuckle Collective, and they were just making videos and doing performances and things like that.
Were you considering yourself a performance artist?
No, actually, I wasn't.
You do get labeled that?
I did get labeled that. Well, I remember like when I played because people weren't used to also just like a machine.
Right.
They were used to people with a machine looking down, pretending that it was rocket science.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck that. I'm going to like put a rock and roll energy. I'm going to like perform with what I have, like Iggy Pop style, that's my, thing. But I'm going to play electronics. So it's going to confuse people. It's going to confuse people that I'm a girl in like little pink shorts and you see my pubic hairs and I'm aggressive, but I'm seeing these sex things really positive. So I was just like, let's go. And people were just freaked out about it. And, they saw it as art or punk rockers loved it. Like a lot of the...
Because it was different.
Yeah. And a lot of the Berliner punk rock people started their own like, electro one-person bands after that.
You planted the seed.
Yeah, it was pretty... But there was also like... Atari Teenage Riot, which was, more of a digital hardcore scene, which came right before what I was doing, which was like more, like angry version.
Right.
And I was like, let's have fun with it more.
So you're not driven by any anger?
No, there's definitely, anger and stuff, but it's playful.
Right.
Yeah.
So was Iggy a big influence on what you wanted to do on stage?
Yeah, but even more like raw power, all the riffage.
Yeah.
I wanted to get that into electronics, which is AKA Suicide, the band.
Sure.
But I didn't know who they were.
Right.
So, yeah. And then, of course, my dreams came true when I met Iggy Pop at some award show where I just ran in and was like, hey, Iggy. And I don't know, he was in some kind of great mood and I said, I love you. And then he held my hand and we were just kind of looking at each other like, yeah, man, thanks. And his girlfriend was there and she's like, hey, this is Peaches. She's the shit. And he's like, oh, cool. And I was like, where do you live? And he's in Miami. And I'm like, oh, I'm playing there next week. Want to come? So when I played in Miami, my guest list was Iggy Pop +1.
Yeah.
And he showed up.
Oh, that's amazing.
So he always gives me time.
Oh, really?
Like if I see him,
he'll hang out.
Like, he's usually eating a steak and drinking 1 glass of red wine,
He's it's very lucid. You make assumptions about those guys. He's it's all still in there. His memory is
so smart,
clear as a bell, and he's a real thinker.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, it was really like surprising to me, to have him sitting here and just lock in. Like Rollins once said, there's sort of this weird difference between Jim and Iggy.
Yeah.
Like, if you talk to Jim, you're going to get a very sophisticated, thoughtful guy. And then when he becomes Iggy, that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, he's like, fuck all that, man.
Yeah, it's a very defined difference. Mm-hmm. So when did you start, integrating, spandex and cocks and hair? And
yeah, well,
multiple boobs.
Well, this is the thing. Like when I started playing, I got a really cheap pink bathing suit because I'm like I should wear something girly because I was mentioning I was being so aggressive on stage and people started to point at my bathing suit shorts because they would see pubic hairs.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, they're like freaked out that they see a few pubic hairs. This is amazing.
Yeah, right.
And the album cover is a picture
of that,
which is from a live show.
Right.
And then I started to make like crotch galleries and things like that because people would be taking pictures of my crotch because they couldn't believe it.
That there was pubic hairs coming out?
Yeah.
It was just, that was so
weird.
Challenging.
Yeah, challenging.
Because it kind of, I guess the idea is that it undermines the sexual excitement of the shorts.
Yes,
so like
or the
heteronormative interpretation of what those shorts mean.
Exactly.
It's like that's not clean. There's hair coming out of it.
So and I would play on that and armpit hair and stuff like that, which is
you liked doing that. challenging
well,
this
I was just
heteronormative.
lazy. I don't know.
Is
shaving.
it?
Yeah, I really don't want to shave there all the time. You get
No,
little
I
balls
know,
and stuff like that.
but you knew that you were onto something.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, that's fine. Let's just
fuck
do
it.
that. Yeah.
But then you decided to keep upping the ante a little bit. A little bit, performance-wise.
well,
Once you realized that people were like, what?
Yeah, no, it just people were playing into it too. They were making me costumes like that you talked about, this multiple boob costume with the Barbie heads that I had.
Yeah.
That was made by one of my dancers. She just presented it. She's like, I made you this.
Well, the woman I'm seeing is a painter, and she turned me on to Louise Bourgeois.
Oh, yes.
Today.
Yes, she's amazing. And she has like one of those multiple boob.
Right,
Yeah.
but she also does all kinds of, all those interesting sculptures that are kind of claws, kind of clits, kind of cocks, and you're like, what? And then spiders, and like, what?
She's incredible, yeah.
It's kind of mind-blowing along that front of provoking heteronormative culture.
Yes.
I'm getting it.
Yes.
Give me some other classifications. But at some point, you must have realized that there was a following accumulating around, what you were doing with, sort of turning gender stuff inside out and pushing those buttons.
Yeah, I mean, I really was speaking about it sincerely. I wasn't like trying to like think about,
Right,
some kind of, it was just kind of happening.
It wasn't an activist movement.
No, I was just, yeah.
And then there's comedy to it.
Yeah, there's comedy because that's the best way to
Sure.
let people know what you're thinking,
Right.
It's like, that's the way you get through to people.
Yeah.
They laugh and then it goes in deeper,
Sure.
so.
And when you do something as big as some of the outfits you wear and some of the effects that you have, and if you've got a dildo on somehow,
Yeah.
that it is hilarious, but it's also sort of like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dildo is funny because right before I moved from Toronto,
To Berlin?
yeah.
Yeah.
I was seeing this girl
Yeah.
who was a leather maker.
Uh-huh.
And she made me my first red leather shorts.
Uh-huh.
And she made me 2 leather dildos.
They were leather dildos?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
those ones weren't used. Those were more for show.
Yeah.
So I gave them to my 2 dancers.
Uh-huh.
And they wore them. I mean, I wore them. I wore it. I wore it on face mask. I didn't even think it was controversial because I just.
Well, I don't know if it's controversial. It's just provocative.
Provocative. I don't know. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah. Why not?
So, and I almost got arrested actually when I opened for Queens of the Stone Age at the Palladium.
Really?
Because I was wearing that dildo because I have a song "Shake Your Dicks."
Yeah.
So me and my gal pal sidekick Mignon, we're both wearing them and singing "Shake Your Dicks," and then after there was like a whole team of people thinking about, should we call the police? Is this indecent exposure?
It isn't, because they're prosthetics.
Yeah.
They're not.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not real dicks.
Yeah. So, but it was amazing to me that there was even a discussion
But
about
the
it.
law enforcement is like, I don't know if this counts if they're not real cocks.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, yeah. That conversation would have been good.
That would have been real good.
Yeah.
So, but between Teachers of Peaches and the next album, there's a lot of years.
3 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fatherfucker, the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were you doing?
Well, I always made an album and then toured for 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And when you toured, did you do roughly the same stage show, same costumes? Like, did you get, like, was there a show that you hit every time? Because you had dancers and everything, right?
Yeah, not Teachers of Peaches was just me.
Yeah.
And I'd go through through machine and then sometimes just playback. And it was a lot about interplay between the audience. And
right.
by the end of the show, I'd be always like, I don't know, I remember one show, like being on someone's shoulders, eating a hot dog in the middle of the audience, people just dancing around, stuff like that,
But you never got into drugs?
No, not for work.
Yeah.
No, I did cocaine once before a show, and there's footage.
Oh, really?
I'm just like, if I'm already, I'm just jumping and sweating. It's not good. It's not cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not. I'm a marijuana person.
Sure.
Yeah.
But do you ever think, like, you've clearly had a profound influence on a lot of other artists, and how do you register that? I mean, do you look at people like Lady Gaga or other people that are taking the type of kind of humorous, like it seems to me that you planted a seed of something that she is aware of.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Do you know her?
No, I don't know her.
How do you feel about her?
I mean, what she does is quite different because she's taking the the greatest influences of the last 30 years and put them all into her show.
Meaning Madonna and
Grace Jones,
sure.
Roisin Murphy.
So you think she's real aware of what she's appropriating?
Yeah, she's very, she knows all that for sure.
Yeah.
And
so you see yourself as a different type of performer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just organically doing this thing and it happened or whatever. Yeah. But, I'm not mad at being like part of this, let's look at an iconic history and build Gaga, like Grace Jones, Madonna, Peaches. I'm like, yes.
Okay.
Elton John. Okay, cool. I'll be in that gang. Thank you.
But I guess what I'm asking as a person that has spent a lot of time in my past, judging myself against others, are you happy with where your career is as you are?
Yes. I am so happy I'm not
huge.
Yeah, I'm so happy I'm not Lady Gaga.
Right.
It's not my goal. Right now, it's even such a good time, like with this new album.
In the book?
In the book, yeah. With the new album, Rub, now I'm doing interviews and people are like, you're important. Things that you said happened.
Like what?
Well, because I was always like, I'm not moving towards the mainstream. The mainstream has to move towards me, with like gender issues and like gay rights and blah, 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 blah.
Now, how do you feel about, obviously the pressure on someone like Gaga to sort of maintain whatever the hell she's doing at the level she's doing at, and then to take the sort of weird courage to change things up and do interesting things becomes a pressure. But do you find you've been put in the position as an example or a role model or a spokesperson for gender issues?
Sometimes, yeah.
But that's cool.
Yeah, I'll say whatever I need to say about it. And if I can't, I'm not an authority. I'm.
Yeah. Do people come up to you and go, "I could change my life. I was locked up in a small town and I didn't think I could get out."
I constantly hear that. It's incredible. It's incredible.
And what kind of people are usually are influenced? Like people that didn't think they had a way to express who they were?
Right. Or coming out, or musicians, or feeling like they had to be. Just feeling. My whole thing is like I want people to feel comfortable in their own skin, whichever way that is.
Right.
And that's the most important thing you can do for yourself.
But it's interesting because your journey doesn't seem to involve trauma, and involve like any real sort of restriction that you sort of kind of came to it with a certain freedom of mind that wasn't sort of like, I'm gonna, fuck all this. And,
it's funny because I think about that because people are always like, and then, had this horrible relationship. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, no, it's like, it's nice. People are like, oh, she's actually nice. Like there's afraid
you make
to
an
meet
album
me,
called Fatherfucker and people are like,
my dad loved that title. He thought it was brilliant.
He did?
Yeah. He was like, I totally, it was, because it's all based on like motherfucker this, motherfucker that. So it's like
a joke. It's a turn on a phrase.
That's what it is.
Right.
It's just like, what if we said fatherfucker all the time? Like, oh no,
Yeah. So he got the joke and he was.
Yeah, he loved it. He was like, your beard looked so cute on the cover.
So they've really embraced your success and
my dad cries at shows. Like, I'm sitting there like whipping my pants around my head and like doing somersaults and he's like,
that's my baby.
Yeah. He loves it. But then they constantly, even now more than ever, my mom's like, we're so proud of you and you're doing really important, wonderful things. But the thing we love most is that you're a good person. That's really sweet.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's because it's weird culturally, me being a representative heteronormative, that you.
I think you're overusing the word now.
No, I'm gonna put it on a sign.
Milk it.
No, but I to classify in terms of our assumptions about like what you do. So like there's always going to be this sort of like, oh, she must be fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's just not the case.
Yeah.
And I think that's an amazing thing, and it gives you a sort of power to come from a place of fun. And really creatively embracing all these possibilities comedically and otherwise, and challenging from a place that isn't sort of like, has an axe to grind.
Yeah. Some sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
I just want people to feel comfortable in their body, I swear.
No matter what.
I swear.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Just feel comfortable in your body. Life's too short.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well be whole.
Yeah, I mean, isn't that what we try and do our whole lives?
I don't fucking know what we're trying to do.
you're trying to find out who you are.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right.
And that's being comfortable in your own body, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's, religion and politics that tell you have to be this way, and mainstream this way, and that's where, all the problems start, and all the hidden secrets, and all the Republicans going on the, affair sites, and then you find out the truth. And, so
what repression causes.
Yeah.
And what fear causes.
Yeah, exactly. It's all, why are we giving into the repression and the fear?
Right.
And it's not like, let's just fuck everybody all the time. Well, I have like my standards, and I have but I just, really, really honor yourself that way.
And when you did Impeach My Bush, that record, was that, obviously there's a political statement in the title, but other than that, the one tune, did you see it as a political record?
I thought I see each album like now in retrospect. I see Teachers of Peaches as a masturbation album in a very positive sense. I see Fatherfucker as role playing. I see Impeach My Bush as a call to revolution. And then I Feel Cream is exploring my vulnerable side.
Yeah.
And Rub, which is my new album.
Return to masturbation?
Yeah, return to masturbation. Always return to masturbation. Exactly.
Come full circle.
Yeah.
But the one I Feel Cream, and your vulnerable side, in what way? When you were putting that album together, were you thinking like I'm a grown person and now I have I'm grounded enough to do this other thing?
I think it was I decided to collaborate with people.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I'm just going to collaborate with these people that I want to work with.
Which is vulnerable.
Which is vulnerable,
right.
Exactly. And then some of the songs became very vulnerable. And and also I'm always like, I'm challenging myself,
Sure.
So why don't you challenge yourself to also use that side, the vulnerable side.
How did it feel?
It was great.
Yeah?
It was great, yeah.
And what is Rub? What is it? It's just what do you
Rub, it just sounds good. It's lazy.
No, I like
it's
it.
like,
The music, though, is different?
It's very classic me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Classic
good.
Peaches?
Yeah, songs like Dick in the Air. Song called Rub, of course.
And in terms of making dance music, that's a whole other world in itself.
Yeah, what is dance music? I don't really...
No, but techno gets this reputation.
I'm not techno. No. Yeah, no, for techno people, they'd be like, ha ha.
Right.
Kindergarten. I have to say it in a German accent. It's Kindergarten music. No, it's nice, but I wouldn't say it's techno. Like, I mean, there's a place in Berlin called Berghain.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever heard of this place. It's like the Mecca for techno.
Yeah.
And everybody goes there. You go there on a Thursday and leave on a Monday morning. And everybody's just naked and the music's like it's like a crazy...
Yeah.
Movie.
Maybe I'm thinking electronic dance music. How's that? Is that better?
Like EDM.
Yeah, is that?
That's what it's called. Yeah. No, that's like, that's,
but you do make
I do electro. I call it electro. I don't even know what to call it.
No, but it is like it is sort of like music that can transcend, boundaries because of the beat. Like I noticed.
Okay, that's a good way to put it.
That there's certain music that has a sort of international feel because it's catchy,
right.
and it is danceable, and it can go on for anywhere from 4 to an hour, minutes.
Yeah.
and it doesn't matter what culture is listening to it, they're going to have the same reaction. They're going to be like, yeah, I'm dancing.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. But and then I'm putting these lyrics in, so they're dancing, and they're going,
yeah.
I'm singing along. What am I singing along to? Whoa.
I just said that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, the other question I have, what was this Jesus Christ Superstar business?
Are you a fan of that musical?
Yeah, I am actually.
Yeah,
I saw it when I was younger. I saw the movie, and there's certain parts of it I can't ever get out of my head, and I love them. Well, I like King Herod's song.
Oh yeah,
and I just thought it was great. So you are the Christ, yo, and
so gay.
Yeah.
So good.
And I liked what's the Mary Magdalene song?
Yvonne Elliman, who is like. Her and Irene Cara, they are my favorite.
Right.
I think Yvonne,
I don't know how to love him. Is that it? Yeah.
Yvonne Elliman's voice, and she was also a Saturday Night Fever. She sang. She wasn't in it, but she sang like, "If I can't have you, I don't want."
Oh yeah.
But her voice is just so creamy and beautiful. I love it. Yeah.
So you did the musical.
Yeah, well, because, people our age know it more as a rock album, I think,
Sure.
And so I wanted to honor it as that, like, more than, like, let's put a big production, and everything. So I wanted to sing all the parts, which I think a lot of people, our generation, probably sat in their room and sang along to it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So that's what I wanted to do.
You had that double album.
Yeah, so that's what I wanted to do in front of people, because I was like, I think I can sing all this.
And you did it.
Yeah.
Where?
Well, I had 2 runs in Berlin, and then I did it in LA, I did it in San Francisco, in Toronto, in Chicago.
So you toured with it. You well received.
Yeah. And Chili Gonzalez played everything on piano. So
he's sort of a wizard, huh?
Yeah, he's a wizard. And actually, I didn't even know, and he didn't know. We both loved this musical. I was just telling him what I was going to do, and he's like, "Oh, I'll play piano. Let's do it." I still do it, but he's not my piano player. But I got asked to do it at a national a state theater in
really?
Munich as
really?
a season this year.
Yeah.
Like the you
part
have
of the
5.
run. Yeah,
part of the run. So I would have done it twice every month, but I would screw up my album cycle, so I'm not going to do it. I can't do it, but I'm going to go do it once on October.
Munich.
Yeah, in Munich on October 10th.
How is it different? How is it staged? What do you have up there?
It's just me.
Just with no props.
I have a whip.
Yeah.
For the second half, when I have to give him 39 lashes. Give myself, him, whatever. Yeah.
And that's...
There's a piano. There's me. I have a very simple costume on the first half, and then the second half I have more of an augmented, like, big gold costume. And that's it.
What are the pictures I saw of you being crucified?
Oh, with the big
dick.
Yeah. That also is like this Russian artist came up to me and he said, I bet you need a cross for this show. I'm going to make you one.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I didn't give him, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And he made me this, like...
It's a giant cock
I don't
cross.
even know, like 30-foot long. It's all muscle, and there's a heart in it. People don't realize, like, all the, like, body organs in it. And then at the head top is a penis.
Do you use that in the show?
I did on the Berlin run. But now I just become the cross.
Oh, okay.
I just, like, roll down some extra gold, so I am the cross.
Yeah?
Yeah. Mostly because I couldn't travel with it.
Right.
Yeah.
Where's
and I think it was, like, an unnecessary, like...
Why hit him over the head with a cock at the end?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, some people, that was, to them, they were like, finally, it's a Peaches version.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's essential to the show.
Right.
But it was there, and this artist made it, and it was great, so...
Where's the cock cross being housed now?
In a place called How Theater, where we did the original production.
It's there. It's
just under there. And the Russian artist, every time I come back to Berlin, he's like, "Where's my penis cross?"
And where are you with religion in general? Like, how do you feel about it? Does it play?
I'm pretty mad at it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think they screwed up. Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't have any spiritual practice?
The spiritual practice I'm not mad at. I'm just mad at, like, organized religion.
Sure.
But spiritual, I mean, I want to meditate.
Yeah, me too.
But do you?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I want to.
I want to.
Yeah, so we'll do it sometime.
Yeah, 5 minutes. Why can't you do 5 minutes a day? Why is that so hard?
That's something you get asked? I get asked that. It's like,
no,
it's
that's
really
what I
easy.
ask myself.
You do?
Yeah.
5 minutes. Just sit and breathe. Clear your mind.
And then all of a sudden, what time is it? Where's my phone?
Yeah. But people who do it are like so sort of like it is like it changes your life.
Yeah.
And I don't fucking do it.
Yeah. I don't need to be in part of a TM or part of a group of it. I just want to do it.
A couple of them have hit me lately.
Yeah.
The TM people.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not a cult.
Yeah.
You just have to pay some money.
Yeah, you just pay us.
Yeah, pay him once. You just pay once.
A lot, and you get a mantra.
Right, like $3,000 or something, right?
No, it's ridiculous.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
What are you doing in L.A.? Videos?
Living.
You live here?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I live here in Berlin.
Yeah?
I have a house here. And
Where do you live? What part of town?
Silver Lake.
Oh, you're right here?
Yeah.
You're down the street? Mm-hmm. Hanging out?
Yeah, going to Amara Kitchen.
Did you ever do any of those performance art pieces, like in museums and?
I tried. Well, Cynthia Plastercaster.
Yeah.
So she plaster cast my breasts, and I asked her.
It's a change for her.
Yeah, no, she started that in the 90s. She's like, why, I gotta do girls. I gotta do boobs.
Enough cocks.
Yeah, so it's a lot of cocks.
Yeah.
So when I was in Chicago, I said, can we do it as a performance? And I was playing like a little show at Weekend Records. I don't think it exists anymore, but we like did a performance. So my friend had to do one of the castings, and she was really nervous because she's never done it live. So we tried to make it like a live performance.
And it worked?
One with the boob that she did worked, and my friend was so nervous. My friend Malcolm is kind of like,
yeah.
He's like, I'm really close to your boob. Help. Yeah.
That one didn't come out as good.
No, but it's okay.
Got one good boob out of it.
Yeah, that's all you can. That's all you can ask for. One good boob out of it.
Yeah. Nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
It was great.
Thank you.
You feel happy?
Very happy.
All right. Well, good luck with the new record.
Thank you.
Wasn't that great? Go check out her work. It's mind-blowing and mind-fucking. All the good things art's supposed to do. She'll mind-blow you and also mind-fuck you. That's what, me. Okay? I'll keep it personal. I don't mind. I want to remind you that one of our sponsors is Chipotle. I could tell you how other restaurants do things like put silicon dioxide in their beans and how Chipotle relies on stuff you actually eat, like chili, garlic, cumin, oregano, grilled adobo chicken, slow-braised carnitas, and organic tofu sofritas, but instead I'll just tell you this. Chipotle tastes good. Put it in a burrito, put it in a bowl, put it in your belly. Chipotle, food without a side of questions. All right, so you can go to WTFpod.com for all your WTF pod needs. As usual, get on the mailing list, check the episode guide, check my calendar. I'm coming to Australia. What else? Oh, for those of you who noticed that we didn't get a Boomer Lives In, I spent so long trying to play Happy Birthday on my guitar that it actually eluded me. So, thank you for noticing. Boomer lives!